What is up, everybody? Brittany and Michaela here for episode 2 of We Got Something to Say. And today we're going to be talking about rejection. Michaela, what is rejection?
Rejection is a state of being dismissed, refused, or just not being accepted.
Wow. And I know a lot of you, as have we, experienced rejection, and it is a very, very sucky feeling.
Yeah.
So we're not even just going to talk about, an intimate type of rejection. We're going to be talking about rejection with your friends, rejection with your family, rejection on the job, all types of rejection today. So let's go ahead and take a deep dive. For me personally, rejection has been with me since I was a very little girl. And I'm going to talk about that later. But as far as relationships with like man-woman relationships, I've only actually experienced rejection once. What about you?
I've experienced rejection a lot.
Wow.
Yeah, a lot. I can honestly say a lot.
So for me, it's actually crazy because I'm not a person to approach men. I have never approached men. And the one time that I do, what happens? I get rejected. So that's why. That reminded me why I don't do it. But this was actually a friend. And I still friends to this day. And, I was like, man, I really am attracted to this person, mostly their personality. It wasn't really a look type of thing. It was just like, wow, you're a really cool individual. And so I told this person that I liked him, and they let me know in the most respectful way, the most kind way that they weren't interested. I guess he didn't even say he wasn't interested. He was just like, I'm trying to focus on me right now. Not really trying to date or anything like that. And so I was just like, okay. But all in all, you were nice about it, but you're still telling me you're not interested.
But I have a question. Was this immediately, or you told him that you liked him and then you guys were still friends and talking and stuff?
So I would say it wasn't immediate rejection. It was just like, okay, well, I've told you that I liked you. Mm-hmm. You're not doing anything with it. So I guess you're not interested. And then I left it at that.
Yeah.
And so it wasn't right away. It was just like, wow, okay, well, give me some time to think about this. And then nothing ever happened. It was just like, okay, so that was your way of telling me, no.
I would have to say I went through that kind of recently, I guess. So, somewhat. You said you were still friends. How were you guys friends for a long time?
No, not long at all. Couple years, and we're still friends to this day. It's kind of awkward at first. I'm not even going to lie. I was just like, okay, well, you don't like me, so I don't want to have anything to do with you. But y'all know that is not mature thing to do. That's definitely not a mature approach. But I really just was like, okay, well, you don't like me, so... I took like a high school standpoint. You don't like me, so bye. Like, I don't need to talk to you anymore. Yeah. Get out of my face.
But why do we do that?
It's because of nobody wants to feel rejected. Nobody wants to feel hurt.
Yeah.
Or like, you're not loved, or like somebody doesn't like you. That's a sucky feeling. But, like I tell you all the time, there are plenty of fish in the sea.
Yes, there are.
And,
Hello.
People always say when one door closes, another one opens. And that's really, you can kind of take that out of context. But who God has for you is for you.
Amen.
So that person wasn't for me. But guess what? The next one will be, or maybe, or he is out there.
He's out there. Lord, he better be out there.
And he's going to find me when the time is right, in God's timing. So that's how I had to look at it. It was like, okay, well, you're not for me. And that is okay. So now I'm going to pick my heart up off the floor. And I'm going to move on.
Not the floor.
Yes, because like I said, nobody wants to feel rejected. It hurts. It makes you feel unwanted. It makes you feel like you're not worthy. And it's just like, especially if you've dealt with it in different aspects of your life or for your entire life. And I know you can attest to that, like not feeling wanted in several different areas.
Yeah. I have a lot of different scenarios in life, family, friends, but I'll start with relationship. I would say more recently, I have let's do that. Let me go back Because to try to start now,
take it back.
Let's go back. I remember it was around like high school, prom, graduating, around that time. And I was in a situationship. It was not a relationship. It was a situation. I'm not about to lie. It was not a relationship because I don't know what we were doing. But I was in a situation where obviously I didn't talk to anybody else, and I'm assuming he didn't either, but whatever. And I got rejected at the moment where I wouldn't sleep with him. So for months, calling, texting, seeing each other, hanging out, hugging, kissing, blah, blah, blah. But once I stood and was like, yeah, I'm not ready for that. I don't want to do that. He immediately rejected me.
Oh, he was a sucker.
He immediately turned his back, like literally turned his back and walked away from me. And I'm like, that hurts because not only am I already in a situation, in the middle of the situation, you reject me.
Wow. So he really just wanted some booty.
Pretty much.
Wow.
And it's sad because I was young. I was really young. So when you deal with it at that age, I think you don't know how to get through it. No. Honestly, you don't know how to talk about it. It's just a sucky feeling. So I specifically remember that situation because I really liked him, loved him, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
Because we were young, but we also grew up together. So I knew him like way before I was in high school. So that right there, it broke me. And I also feel like in the middle of the rejection, I didn't know my self-worth because even in that, I'm not going to lie, I still went back. I still tried. We still, talked and things like that. So even like in the middle of like him rejecting me, like he treated me differently.
Wow.
He treated me so different. I'm about to be honest. He pawned me off on his friends. Like literally.
And you were still trying to get with him.
I guess I didn't understand, and his friends would tell me, what is wrong with you?
Yes, you girl, I wish I was your friend then because I would have told you you are worth so much more than that.
And, I mean, yes. Now I know that, but then it's just like rejection. It breeds other things.
Yeah,
it's not just rejection; it's rejection, and then you don't care about yourself. Like you lose your self-worth. So all that stuff tied in. I guess it was just so much like just trying to be loved that I took the rejection.
Yeah,
So I remember that, and it was really sad moment for me to want to be with someone, to like them that much, love them, care for them, and because of this one thing, you rejected me. So it's like after that moment, he rejected the feeling for me or to care about me more.
Jeez. Was he even cute? He probably wasn't even cute.
He all right.
Exactly.
Whatever.
Doing all that and you ain't even
whatever.
Ain't hitting on nothing.
But I remember like talking to a specific friend of his. I think it was like his best friend. He was just like, man, you just don't know how beautiful you are. You don't know how good you are. Like, leave him alone, And me doing the right thing, I'm not about to talk to your friend.
If he was talking to me like that, and then the other guy didn't want me to kill her, I would have been like, well.
No. No. But I just feel like that's a bit much. So for me, I was just like, thank you, I appreciate it. But like I said, I lacked a lot inside of me to even want to still deal with him.
Yeah.
So that was a big one. So that was like back then. I haven't really had, I don't want to say like a lot in relationships. I haven't had a lot of rejection, family and friends and stuff like that. But like sticking to the relationship part, or when I say relationship, I'm just meaning liking someone or wanting to date or something like that. So recently I don't want to call it rejection. It is rejection. I'm going to call it what it is. And it's not so much, I don't want to say like it's the same thing that you dealt with or the same thing, but it was almost like, hey, I have feelings for you or I like you or whatever this is. And it was received. Was it reciprocated? I don't know.
Yeah.
But it was almost like, yeah, I'm not ready.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
to me,
it's a form of rejection.
It's a form of rejection.
Yeah.
Right? So like you said, you have to learn how to keep it moving.
Exactly.
And pick
up the
pieces
and move on.
Would you say your heart off the floor?
Yes.
And keep it moving. So, like, that's a conversation I also want to have. Like, what do you do when you're ready, but they're not ready? That's,
that's something you would have to pray about, because if you, it depends if you believe this person is for you or if it's just, an attraction.
Yeah.
But if you really
what is it?
feel like this person is supposed to be in your life, is meant to be, if you feel like this person is truly for you, like they're meant to be in your life, or if it's just like an attraction.
Yeah.
It's definitely easier to shake if it's just an attraction, and, you can move on a lot quicker. But if you believe this person is for you, that's definitely something you have to pray about.
Yeah.
But it has to be mutual, It has to be, it can't be one-sided, because you can't force anybody to like you either.
And the thing about it, somebody's going to get rejected.
Absolutely.
If both parties, like if you have feelings,
yeah,
and they have feelings, then you're fine.
Yeah.
But if you're the only one with feelings,
yeah,
and they do not have the same feelings, or not only that, scratch that, because what if they do have feelings, but the capacity is not the same?
Yeah.
Somebody's going to get rejected, and I don't want to say heartbreak, because if it's new and early, you shouldn't be heartbroken. So I don't think you should be heartbroken, but it'll be a really sucky feeling,
Yeah. I actually saw something on Instagram the other day, and hopefully I'm not misquoting it, but it said that the right person at the wrong time is the wrong person.
Wow.
And I had to think deep. That's very cool. Deep, and I had to think about that. The right person at the wrong time is the wrong person. Yeah. Everything works, in its own timing. So if that person is not ready, it's the wrong person.
Wrong person.
And that even goes to say, like, how people say we have soulmates, and, do you believe that God only intended for us to be with one person, like as far as like one person for the rest of our life? Like we have somebody that our soul is supposed to align with, like that person is meant to be for us. And I actually don't believe that.
Okay, good.
I don't believe
I was about to say, I don't
that
believe
we
that.
are only meant to, like, there's one person and our our paths have to cross, and
I don't believe
that was the person from birth that God meant for me to be with.
No,
I don't believe that. I just believe that, God ordained something, and in his timing, it'll happen, whoever it may be. But to say that me and this person, he was born 2 years before me and he's been waiting for me ever since, and then blah, 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 blah.
Yeah, no.
Because what happens when you've been married like you have? And you thought that person was supposed to be your soulmate, and now
cat is out the bag.
Yeah,
I've been married.
Surprise!
That's so funny. So, yeah, I have been married.
Yeah.
So
we're gonna save that topic for another day. Spoiler alert. But what do you do then?
Yeah. And that's why I am saying, no.
Yeah.
Don't believe it.
Absolutely.
Because what do you do when you get up the road and people's minds change and their heart changes? Does that mean God did something wrong? No.
Yeah.
It's the people.
Yeah.
So the whole soulmate thing, no. Because what happens when you're married for 20 years and he started to act crazy? And then God sends you someone else, and it's just like, wow, this person is like the best. This person is like for me. So you waited 20 years just to get your soulmate? No, I don't. So that's my opinion. I don't believe that.
Absolutely. So let's do a deep dive and talk about other types of rejection. Okay. So let's talk about the relationship within our family. I have actually experienced, I said I only experienced rejection once from a man, as far as like relational, like intimate relationships, boyfriend and girlfriend, husband and wife kind of relationship. But as far as like rejection as a whole, I feel like I've experienced it my entire life, and it would be from my father. Some of you guys know my story, some of you guys don't, but from the age of 4 years old up until now, I'm 31 years old. Actually, up until I was 27, from 4 to 27, my father was incarcerated. He struggled really bad with being addicted to drugs, and he did a lot of things. And I guess when he was, I think early teens, or no, late teens, early 20s, he got his third strike and was sentenced to 25 years to life. And, my whole childhood, he was gone. He was absent. And that was a form of rejection for me. I dealt with it really bad. My father has 3 children. He has 2 sons and a daughter. I'm the middle child. And it really affected me really bad for him to, choose that life, drugs over us, and to not be there, to decide that the drugs were more important, to decide that that life he was living was more important than his children. And that took a toll on me growing up. I feel like him not being there was a lot of the reason why I rebelled. Rebelled against God, rebelled against my mom. And as an adult, when I joined the military at 17, left when I was 18, I tried everything under the sun. Everything that I wanted to do, I did, because he wasn't there. He wasn't there to tell me I was beautiful. He wasn't there to tell me you deserve more. He wasn't there to tell me you're worth more. You want more. And so I did a lot of things. I slept around, tried different things, had the drunken nights when I blacked out. And it was just a lot going on. And at the time, I couldn't piece the 2 things together because I was young and dumb and immature. And I didn't know all these things, like I was spiraling and all these things were happening because he was not there. From 4 years old to 27. And even now I'm 31, it's 4.5, almost 5 years later. And I've only seen you once since you got out of prison in 2017. And
that's heavy.
Yeah.
That's heavy.
Absolutely. That also is a form of rejection. The fact that from 4 to 27, you weren't there. And now you're out of prison. It's almost been 5 years and I've only seen you once. And my family, me, my mother, my brother, we were the ones to go see you. You couldn't come see us, but now you can. And it's just, it's tough, I've forgiven. I have forgiven him. I have let go, but it's still imprinted in my mind. I went through those things, I dealt with all those things that come with a father not being there. And so, of course, I'm going to remember. I'm never going to forget, but I have forgiven,
Yeah. It almost sounds like that happening to you so early on, it was kind of like that wanted to be the blueprint for your life. The foundation, not blueprint, but the foundation of just rejection.
Oh, yeah,
from
absolutely.
A little girl. But
absolutely.
that is not your life.
No, not at all. Thank you, Jesus.
That is not the foundation. But for a lot of people,
it is.
That is the foundation.
It is.
From a little kid.
And I have to give thanks for, to God and my mother for that, because I did have a praying mother. I had a hardworking mother. I had a mother who prayed for her children day in and day out. And she worked hard. I mean, for the majority of my life, my mother worked 2 to 3 jobs. When we were at school, she was at home sleeping or trying to get a little bit of shut eye. And when we came home, she was still working. When we went to bed, she was still working, And so it was very, very hard as a child. She did the best that she could. And, we had the latest and the freshest J's and stuff.
Of course.
And as far as materialistic things, we had everything we wanted. But there's that absence was still felt. My mother had to play the role of 2. When she should have never had to. Yeah. She had to play the father. She was the mother, but she also had to play the father. When I did not know God as God the Father, my mother, was that father for me, that father figure. And she never was supposed to play that role. And, I often want to have this conversation with my father and sit down with him and talk about these things. But I don't know if he's ready for it. I don't know if he can mentally handle what would come with that, because I would lay it all out. I would tell him everything, Like, this is what I went through because you weren't there. I don't want to place the blame, but realistically, you are the blame.
Who's going to take it? Yeah.
You are. You chose to have children, and then you chose to abandon them.
Yeah.
Now, I don't know what it's like to be addicted to drugs. I don't know what that lifestyle comes with.
Let alone don't know what it's like to be a parent.
Absolutely. But you chose to have children and then to abandon them. You know, I know it wasn't I know it wasn't his plan to get arrested and have all those things happen and spend 23 years in prison. I know he didn't want to do that, but ultimately you made your choice, and we had to face the punishment for what you did. We had to be fatherless. And so I know a lot of people have dealt with this, having one family or one father, have one parent in the home, and what that feels like, what that comes with, the loneliness, the rejection, and the feelings of not being wanted or not being good enough. And it's real life. It truly is. So I'm saying to all of you who have both your parents in the home, you are so lucky, so blessed, and I need you to be very, very grateful.
Yeah.
It is tough.
So for me, I'm gonna say I had both parents in the home.
Mm-hmm.
Did I go through rejection there? Yes, I did. I'm not gonna say I went through it with my parents. I think it was more so like a sibling thing. Mm-hmm. I'm the youngest of 3, and I feel like my entire childhood, and they can attest to this if they were here, that there was a lot of rejection. Was some of it my fault? Yes, I was one of those basic, like, babies. Like, the third.
You were the brat.
Yes. So I'm not going to act like I didn't bring it on myself.
The youngest child is always the brat.
Yeah. So it doesn't make it okay. But some of it I brought on myself. And it really was just being young, being immature, and character flaws. That, for me, I'm realizing that now as an adult, a lot of the rejection that I dealt with inside of the home was because of my character flaws. Mm-hmm. Things that I did, things that I said, being a brat, snitching, being young, Yeah. So again, it's still not a good feeling, but I wasn't like the first person that, my sister and brother wanted to hang out with. I wasn't, they chose their friends over me, or, that sounds stupid, but it is what it is.
It's realistic.
Yeah, because some people want to hang out with their siblings. They want to, they say your siblings are your first best friends or whatever. Yeah. That is not the case for me.
Yeah.
But again, I brought some of that rejection on myself, and I'm like, I'm understanding that now, and I'm at a point where I am trying to fix those things the best way that I know how. But like you said, you are blessed to have 2 parents in the home. That is a blessing. Mm-hmm. Sometimes that is rare, but it's not always perfect. Yeah. And I'm saying that because I had both of my parents. Mm-hmm. Thank the Lord.
Yeah.
Because there's behind the scenes stuff that happens. Mm-hmm. Whether it's you dealing with it from your parents, feeling like you're not good enough, like you're not meeting their expectations, or you're not, like you got 2 parents on you. So sometimes that doesn't always feel the best.
Yeah.
So it is better situation than having just one parent in the home, but you still deal with rejection with having everyone in the home.
Yes, absolutely. I understand and I agree. But I do think when both parents are in the home, you have a better chance at succeeding in life in all aspects, because you have 2 people. You don't have just one person. You have 2 people to guide you, to lead you, to
balance you out.
Exactly. And to put you on the right path. And it definitely plays a role, and it has a significant impact in the adult that you become.
Yeah.
So it's crazy. But as far as rejection in like the workforce and stuff like that, I've been fired before. I think everybody has been fired at least once, or some type of
disciplinary action or
yes,
something.
Yes.
Which I don't think that's like rejection. But I think more so like being told, no, you don't have this job, or
oh yeah,
no, you don't qualify. Let's talk about that.
Oh
like,
yes.
Wanting to be successful in your life, wanting to have a certain job, or
even like entrepreneurship.
Yeah.
You get you go out there and you try and, you know, get these people to invest in your business or to believe in your business. Even having like people, you know, wanting to invest into your entrepreneurship journey and in your business, and just them feeling that rejection from the people that are closest to you.
Or not getting support from people that you actually know.
That's rejection.
And that sucks.
Yeah, it does. Like, I decided to venture out and start this new business, and the people that are closest to me, I would expect you to support me the most, but sometimes those are your biggest haters. Oof, ouch.
Yeah.
Ouch.
Yeah.
And that is definitely a big part of rejection as well.
I remember being like, you know, as an adult, applying for jobs, like good jobs, like, ooh, big girl job, I'm ready. And I got to know. Yeah. That hurt me because I'm like, Lord, what am I doing? Yeah. Am I not qualified? Like, what is this?
And not just one or two jobs, several jobs.
Yes.
Several no's.
Several no's. You filling out 20 applications and one person call you. Yeah. And you still get a no. Yeah. You still have to push beyond that.
Absolutely.
You know, you still have to just be confident. Yeah. And know that just because I got a no, there's a yes out there for me.
Absolutely. You know? You might get 100 no's, but guess what? The 101st try?
And one? Yeah.
Is that even a word?
I don't even know.
The 101st try will be that yes.
101.
Yes.
Yeah.
So that's why persistence is key.
Yeah.
And, you know, just keeping the ball rolling and just continuing to pursue and, you know, be persistent. Yeah. Like, man.
And keep the faith, because like this is about rejection, but also how do we overcome these situations in our life where we get rejected? People get rejected a lot on a daily basis. Yes. And sometimes that puts them just in a funk. It puts people in a depression. Yeah. You know?
A downward spiral.
Yeah, because they feel like, okay, everything, whether it's a man, woman, relationship, job, friends, status. Yes. That is very taxing mentally.
Well, I definitely feel like you already know we have God. Yeah. God is a big part in that, in having faith that he has our best interests at heart, having faith that, you know, he sees us. He knows what our heart's desires are.
Yeah, he knows the plans that he has toward us, like for our life. Like we literally depend on him. Yes. For the plan.
For everything.
Yeah, for the plan for our lives, you know. So when you live your life like that, then, you know, it's easier to deal with.
Absolutely.
You know? But keeping the faith and just having hope that there is a yes, you know.
But you know what? Even with that, so sometimes you can feel rejected by God. Yeah.
There's probably a lot of people who feel that from day to day.
Yeah, and that's a little deep, but so let me go into this. Let me talk about this. Feeling rejected by God is, God, I'm praying for this and it's not happening. God, I asked you for this.
You're not doing it.
And you didn't do it. God, you said you give me the desires of my heart. God, I'm doing everything, checking off every box that you're asking and requiring of me, but I still don't see you moving.
God, I'm changing. I'm changing ways about me.
Yeah, I'm changing these things about me that I don't like and that you don't like.
But nothing's happening.
But where are you? What's going on? And that
feels like rejection.
Feels like rejection. And man,
God is loving and he does hear you and he does care. Those things take time. Yeah. And everything is in his timing, you know. But it just, like I said, it goes back to just being confident and having the faith and the understanding to know God does not reject anyone.
Absolutely.
He does not always give you what you want when you want it.
Yes.
But that does not mean God is rejecting you, you know. Yeah. So we deal with this in our daily lives. You deal with this in your spiritual walk with God, you know. But that does not mean that he doesn't care or he's not listening. Yeah. And sometimes even if you just take away the whole relationship thing and the family and the friends, that's a big one.
Yeah.
Praying and nothing's happening. Asking God, trying to believe, trying to have faith, and nothing's happening.
Yes.
It is truly a faith journey.
Absolutely. Faith is the biggest part. Faith and love are the biggest part. Of what we believe.
So you just have to be strong. It's just being strong mentally, because sometimes you can have strength physically.
Yeah. But the battle is mentally.
It is all of it,
especially when dealing with rejection.
Even yes, it's all mental. So you have to get somewhere and strengthen your mind. Naturally, read a good book.
Yeah. Pray.
Yeah.
Meditate.
All that.
All
stuff,
those things.
All those things.
You have to strengthen your mind, and not just sometimes. This is a daily effort.
Yeah. Impart positivity.
Yes.
Stop talking negative. Stop talking negatively about people.
Like we said in the last episode, words have power.
They do.
Your words create life, and they create death.
Yeah.
So what you're speaking over yourself and other people, it makes impact.
It does. It really, really does. So I think just mentally getting somewhere and getting strong.
Yes.
Speaking those things over yourself, having faith when you deal with those rejection. Like she said, keep it moving. It's a part of life. Friends. Let's talk about friends.
Okay.
I'm trying to think.
We've all been rejected by friends.
Well, yeah. So, especially when you may not look like them.
Yes. You may not look like them. You may not talk like them.
So I'll talk about that.
You may not be as quote unquote pretty as them or fit as them.
And I dealt with that a lot. So like we were talking about in the beginning, have I dealt with rejection? Yes, I've dealt with a lot of it. So, and it, for me, like it goes back to being young, growing up, I've always been on the heavier side. So back around those times, body positivity was not as big as it is now. I don't even think it existed. So if you were overweight or you didn't have a certain texture of hair or you weren't fitting in, and or you stood out amongst your other friends. And I dealt with that sometimes. Being rejected by a certain group of people because I didn't look like them.
Wow.
It was I really didn't have the whole like nothing wrong with like what we wore because our parents provided and we had the latest, but it was more so how I looked, and being heavy, and then like not like certain guys, and I'm more so talking about like high school and stuff like that. I'm not talking about like elementary because nobody cares about. No, you're young.
Hey, the little kids matter too.
Yeah, they do matter, but I'm talking about like when it really matters, like middle school, high school.
Yeah,
but being overweight and just being rejected by those groups of people that you wanted to talk to, that cool you wanted to hang out with, and it ain't even them. The other ones too. They,
so the rejects are rejecting.
Hey, yes. They out there rejecting. The rejects are rejecting, yes. So it was just, I dealt with it a lot. So being an adult, I tried to change a lot of those things. And a lot of those things have changed for me. Like that is definitely not an issue now.
You are such a social butterfly.
I guess.
You literally have so many friends, Michaela. It's not even funny.
I know. It's a thing. I dealt with that.
Yeah.
I have no issues now.
None whatsoever.
But I will say that is because you have to get somewhere and get past it. Yeah. Everybody is not going to like you. Everybody is not going to accept you, and that's fine.
But I feel like the toll that played on you as a child, it forced you to react different and to get out of that space and to just flourish as an adult. And because you felt rejection so heavy from people as a child, I don't know, it just had some kind of reverse effect to where people love you now. Like
and I love them.
I mean, y'all, we would go to the grocery store. We went to the grocery store one time, and some girl just came up to her and started talking to her, asking her for a number to what was it? She was like somebody. That Virginia girl?
I don't know.
Some random girl.
I don't remember.
I'm like, we are.
I see people all the time. It doesn't matter where.
Can I have your number? I want a social.
Oh, like social. Get on social media.
Yeah,
it's weird. I don't know.
Just random people. We're in the gym. I mean, she'll just say a comment and then, girl, just
a whole conversation will bust out. What's your Instagram? What's your face?
Yes.
I do think learning how to deal with rejection so early on has, like, now I've leveled up.
Yeah.
Truly. Like, I don't care who, like, honestly, I don't care who does not like me. I don't care who does not want to talk to me. Like, I don't deal with those things now. You know, I cared so much about that, you know, when I was young, because I was just trying to fit in, or whatever the case may be. But when you learn how to get past that rejection, you'll be all right.
Yeah. I think the opposite is for me. Like, growing up, I was popular. Because I was in so many activities. I mean, I was in marching band, ROTC, orchestra. I was in, you know, I was so known. My brother was a football player. My younger brother was a basketball player. So, and then my cousins, we all went to school together. Like, well, two of my cousins. And they were well known in like the dance community, and I just had friends all over. Some of my church friends, we went to school together, so I just had a lot of friends growing up. But now I'm more reserved. I'm like an extroverted introvert. I can be extroverted when I need. So I can be extroverted when I need to, but I prefer to be introverted. Like, I like to be at home on the couch watching YouTube, doing nothing. But when friends want to hang out, most of the time, majority of the time, I will go. And I like, you know, meeting new people, but I'm a little bit more reserved. And that may come, I guess, because of all the hurt. Like, that may come from all of the hurt that I've dealt with. As an adult, I've become more reserved, and I kind of hold back.
Pull back, yeah.
Yeah. So that could come from that. But, you know, nowadays, I'm just like that.
You're chilling.
Yeah. Chilling. So,
and I'm just out here flying.
Yeah.
I guess.
How does that work? With us being best friends? And so
girl,
we're so opposite, but so alike in certain ways, you know?
Yes, you're absolutely right. It just works. I don't know how to explain it. It just works, and it balances, you know?
Absolutely.
But yeah.
So
that's how we deal with rejection.
Absolutely.
We would love to hear about how you deal with it. If any of this helped, you know, or do you even relate to what we're saying?
Yes.
But that's pretty much all we got for you today.
That's a wrap on episode 2, guys.
Yes.
We got something to say.
Always.